So, are you aware that Sean O'Malley won?
He did win. We had somebody in the comments last week predict it perfectly. Second round KO, which I thought Sean was going to win, but that was pinpoint. That was precise.
Pinpoint. Enzo, my 12-year-old, we were actually buying a TV. I don't think you guys can see it, but I bought a TV for the podcast room. We're buying a TV, and he has all his, UFC stuff and all that going on. And the guy was like, "Who's going to win tonight?" And it was actually that day. And he's like, "Oh, Sean O'Malley, round 3 KO." And he's like, "What are the odds on that?" He's like, "Sean O'Malley winning." It was like +2, whatever. And he's like, "Sean O'Malley winning KO." And he's like, "Oh, that's good." He's like, "Now let me look at the odds for round 3. I need to call him back. I'd like go back there and be like, "Did you bet?" Like,
what are the odds, Patty?
What are the odds? So yeah, it was pretty good. A lot of people were hating. A lot of people hate.
Yeah, last week was a weird video in the comments.
It was a weird video, right?
I did really well, both of us.
Yeah, killed it. Look, I got KGB wrong. I thought she was going to wrestle. Other than that, it was pretty spot on.
And last week was the most square week possible. You just chose the big favorites, and they all cruised.
Yeah, there's nothing crazy.
Ian Gary, Natalia Silva.
Yeah, weird. So anyway, on another random note, just you guys will complain in the comments about this. Oh, shut up, shut up, shut up. Talk about fighting. Get to it. Where's the timestamps? When's the last time you bought a bed?
Few years. It's been probably 4 or 5 years.
Okay, so this is like a legit PSA out there, you guys. So like actually like this is kind of comical. Our bed sucks. We just bought a bed like 3 months ago. Went online. We looked at every review that you could look at for every bed that you could look at. We ended up buying a Dream Cloud bed. All right. We bought the nicest one, the most expensive one. We got it and it was hard as a rock. And they're like, "Hey, give it some time, whatever." It's 365-day trial. And finally we're like, "Man, we got to get this thing out of our house, out of our lives. Like we have to burn it." So we return it. We're, going through the process, all this stuff. So then we started looking at reviews for beds. Every bed that you can find online, all of them are the same, like the best 10 mattresses, the best this, the best that. Everything that you look at, it's a sham, you guys. It's a sham. It's all the same, like 8 to 12 beds. They're all like online brands, bed in a box type of thing. And they give the most affiliate. If you separately look at the best mattresses of 2023, all right, do that. Look at every mattress, memorize the list. Then go through, if you're a blogger, if you guys don't know how most blogs work, most review sites, you write an article, but you don't actually write an article. You find out what is trending. You find out what gives the most affiliate link money. So somebody clicks on a link and then you get a commission on it. Then they write the articles around the affiliate link stuff that is trending. Okay. And so if you look again, go through and Google best 10 mattresses, best mattress of 2023, you'll see a list. And then go Google best affiliate links or most affiliate money for mattresses. And you will see all of those same links. It's insane.
You've cracked the code.
Go to a mattress store and buy an actual mattress from an actual mattress store. But not only that, do this with pretty much everything. I know a lot about cameras. I love cameras. I love vlogging. I love photography. If you go and look at all of again, Google best vlogging camera 2023. I know cameras and I know like a lot of those cameras, you're like garbage, 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 garbage. You can tell it's literally just an article written for affiliate links and affiliate, because this stuff is garbage. And I don't know anything about mattresses, so I didn't know that was garbage. But I bet you if you know anything about any subject and you were to just randomly Google stuff, you're going to get all this stuff. So I guess my point is, one, the internet is lying to us, which I never knew until right now. I thought the internet was all honesty and all truth.
Of course. Well,
right?
Everybody's in this for the money.
Everyone's in it for the money. But
it's weird when you look up the most handsome podcasters. We're number one on the links.
Yeah, and because we pay the most money.
Yeah, we pay the most money.
That's it. And so if you guys are looking at anything you want to buy, look at all the reviews and then go through and look at like affiliate money for linking that stuff. And then go to an actual people forget that like human experience actually accounts for something. And like I went to a bunch of different actually in-store places. And the different salespeople that I went to, I was like, man, I actually learned a lot about freaking mattresses. And all of the mattresses on those websites, everything reviewed is like garbage, bottom of the barrel. It's mattress in a box, gets shipped to your home.
So which one did you settle on? I think that's what the people want to know.
Oh, I settled on a Sealy. Okay, so a Sealy like
Sealy Posturepedic?
I don't know what it was, but there was Tempur-Pedic, which was like way expensive. And initially, the first place we went, I was like, I got to get a Tempur-Pedic. It's like $6,000 a bed, and I'm like, I got to sleep well. You got to do it. Huberman says sleep's important. So, but then I actually went and I tried a Tempur-Pedic, a Sealy, and then a Beauty Rest. And then the Beauty Rest and the Sealy, I couldn't really. It was kind of equal. And then, but the Beauty Rest was like $1,000 more, and so I ended up going with the Sealy. And I got like an adjustable bed frame, and I don't know if I'll ever use it, but if I want to sit up, I don't really watch TV in bed, but if I want to like use it at some point, if I'm uncomfortable or if I'm not breathing well, cause I'm 80 and I have emphysema or something, I don't know when I'll use it, but anyway, so I got that. So I went with the Sealy. In my research, I went to a bunch of places that had showrooms for these online beds. Yeah. And I tried a bunch of them out, and they're all garbage. And then you go to just the random mattress store that just sells the expensive, overpriced mattresses, infinitely better than anything else.
Well,
so
I hate to bust it. I got a purple mattress. I love it.
Man, do you?
Love it.
Man,
good for me.
Good.
I actually found out something about a purple mattress. Apparently, it was like an old hospital bed technology.
Really?
And then they died or something happened. And then basically the company Purple like just took that technology, licensed it or patented it or whatever, and then they just started selling it. Man. But it's just it's an old.
Go to a mattress store at some point and lie on those mattresses, and you'll burn your purple mattress.
I'm 140 pounds, 45 pounds, 50 pounds.
It doesn't matter.
I just float on the top of these mattresses. I weigh enough to like make a dent.
You sleep on a carpet, and the carpet doesn't even depress.
It doesn't go down.
You don't even feel hardwood floor.
These mattresses mean nothing to me.
Oh, to be a flyweight. Oh, man.
All right, well, hold on. One thing we need to address. So, one, I see you're propping up your kicks.
Oh, only because it's
take a look at
comfortable.
these. For the first time in 9 years, you're not wearing flip-flops on the podcast. So, thanks for
I've worn these before on the podcast. It's been a minute. I've had these for a long time, actually.
Two, I want to address the timepiece.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous piece because I remember when I first started making money at my sales job, actually, the first purchase I ever made was Purple Mattress. Yeah. Need sleep. But you would always ridicule me over watches.
Yeah.
Like, why are you buying watches? I'll never buy a watch. You're like, I have $1,000 watch my wife got me, and that's it. That's all I need.
That's all I need.
And then the Patreon money started rolling in. And what do we got now? What do we got now?
I got an IWC. It's a nice watch. It's a nice timepiece.
Honestly, it's a beautiful time. I'm way into watches, and so regularly I go to Fashion Square, and then I just realize I'm the poorest person in Fashion Square.
Yeah.
Well, there's teenagers there, but they got trust.
But their parents, they have more
trust
money.
fund money.
They have better credit than us.
So I am still the poorest there, and so I always go to the different jewelry shops. They got the Hublot, Breitling. I hate Breitling, and then they have the Hyde Park, which holds Rolex, Grand Seiko, like all the cool watches, and I love Grand Seiko. And every time I go in there, I'm just like, man, I can't get anything today. And then I wandered in the IWC store, and I'm like, okay, IWCs are like low range luxury watches. I was like, I'm going to scoop up like 3 of these things. No issue. I thought they were probably 3,000. Yeah. I could not believe how expensive they were.
They're not that low range. I mean,
they're there's some that are a couple 100,000. Yeah. But yeah, there's 6 to probably 12 to 15,000. They're expensive.
Yeah. This wasn't a couple 100,000. So that's good.
No, the guy was trying to sell me. I was looking at, so I got a Black Bay Tudor, which is probably one of my favorite watches. It's an all black ceramic watch.
Oh yeah, that's a nice watch.
It's a great piece. And so the guy at the IWC, so IWC's whole thing is their pilot watches, right? Mm-hmm. For aviation. And it was like
and Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. So. Well, that's one and the same.
Yeah.
And his whole thing was like this watch will outlast human civilization. He literally was trying to sell me on the fact he's like, yes, it's $120,000, but you can give it to your kids
for 120,000 years.
Yeah, you can give it to your kids. And I was like, cool, man.
Yeah,
they're gonna have me
sterile.
Watch. Yeah.
Turns out I can't even have kids. So I've been fixed.
No go. All right. Just Win Crybaby is gonna laugh about this whole watch section. So all right, let's get into this card.
So you and Pierce did Contender, actually, even before we get into that. Contender was tonight. How did you guys do on Contender?
Well, in straight picks, we went 2 for 2, and I explained this on the on that podcast. It's really hard to make a judgment without seeing the face-offs in that show. So last week we did horrible, right? And we kind of keep trying to like go for value plays and pick these dogs and see things. But
somebody said in the comments, the greatest comment I've ever heard. Sorry, Pierce, I love you. They said, after last week's picks, Big Bird needs to go to Sesame Street jail.
they were coming for the boy. I'm like, this is such a sweet kid. Yeah, but like last week, we chose a little fat, chubby Brazilian, and then the face-off comes out, and it's this shredded, jacked, steroided up chick, and the fight wasn't even competitive.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's really hard to tell until you see these people face off. And so this week we went 2-2, or I went 2-2. The over-unders hit, and I threw a pretty long parlay. Josephine Knutson, whatever, she didn't get a contract tonight. Looked great. She rocked the girl, dropped her in the first round, put on a really complete performance. Probably skill for skill, one of the best fighters that we're going to have this season.
Really?
Especially the best women's fighter. And Dana didn't take her.
I wonder why.
And the whole thing on that, we were like, okay, one girl's a glory kickboxer. The other one's kind of a Muay Thai girl. And one girl's plus 200 versus minus 300. So we're like, all right, we're going to go value here, thinking there would be a big size difference. But they ended up being the exact same height.
Okay.
And that ended up playing a factor, just the size. It wasn't that long, tall striker versus the short, kind of grappling heavy approach. It was like two just good strikers, same size. So
it is interesting though when you see these things, the face-offs and stuff, because the first week of Contender when Junior Cortez was there, and I'm actually sad that I didn't do this because I was saying I did a breakdown on the Patreon, and I liked, who was the Brazilian kid that fought the kid from Mexico or Peru at 125?
Oh, Victor Diaz.
First of all, I didn't realize that was at 25 when I was doing it, just in general, which was a big screw up on my part. But I saw Diaz at the weigh-ins, and I was like, he's a ghost. Like, it was the worst weight cut I've ever seen a human. I was like, he's going to death gas. And I just didn't have time to rewrite that and put it on. But that itself, just seeing the weigh-in, seeing the size difference, seeing the weight cuts, that stuff does mean something. And it's hard with Contender because they don't have the press that everything else has.
Yeah.
And then you guys are putting stuff out before the weigh-ins occur.
Yeah, realistically, the best day to be putting it out would be like Monday night. Yeah.
But there's just not enough time to really do that and then get this.
Yeah.
So. All right, guys, let's get into it. We've been yip-yapping long enough. You guys have already turned
Well, good thing
off.
you talked about mattresses. We just put everybody to sleep.
Oh, man. Jokes. We got a card in Singapore. And just for people out there, I'm curious to see how many people went through this whole Singapore card in terms of like being contracted to fight. I know we had numerous offers to have our guys fight on this Singapore card. We did not want any of those to occur because Singapore is horrible. The time change is horrible. Trying to get there. And we didn't have anybody pull out for anything other than legitimate injuries. Everybody asked to be on this card was actually injured, and there was no funny stuff. It was all just the up and up. However,
God,
I'm
Hunter,
glad.
I hope you're not listening.
However, man, who wants to fight in Singapore, man? So I'm curious to see how Singapore affects. Like, I mean, when we were in Abu Dhabi, that was brutal. I mean, the time change, the sleep. When we're fighting in the middle of the night. When I've gone to Australia with Bruno Silva, we had to leave the hotel for the arena at like 5:45 a.m. Melbourne time. So we had to like wake up at like 5. It was nuts. It was just bad.
And
everything.
Australia is the most godforsaken place on earth.
Godforsaken land. So, all right, let's get into this card. Singapore, Zombie is fighting Max Holloway, and Zombie didn't come out and run camp with us for this. It was just logistically, it was too hard. It was a lot of money.
But
Eddie is over there cornering him right now.
Okay, so still our guy.
Still our guy. I'm not. I mean, I gave Zombie his black belt. I'm not talking about that. I mean, this.
Yeah.
So first fight of the night, we've got Choi.
Okay.
We have Choi, you guys, against Jarno or Errens. And if you guys have been watching the show for a long time, we have a love-hate relationship with Choi and his chin and his lack of fight IQ. But we've got Choi, who's tall. He does so much stuff right. Everything he does is just so good, but he has the fight IQ. I'm rewatching tape for this. He has the fight IQ of a Down syndrome ant. Like just a short bus
What's
fighter.
a Down syndrome ant look like? They're building the hill over here.
It's short but really buff. and it
can lift 17 times its weight instead of 4.
So I mean, like, he does everything so well. He has a good tight guard. He has a good jab. His takedown defense is good. His grappling defense isn't the worst, but it's fine. He's fast. Everything is what you want. And then he's such an ape, and he gets hit so much. You're like, what are you doing? And then you have Jarno Errens, who's a pretty good Dutch style Muay Thai guy. Like, I think we both thought that Errens was going to beat Gomez when they fought.
No,
did we not?
No,
okay.
Hell no.
Okay. It's been a while, so
I chose remember. Gomez. I'm 2 for 2 on Mr. Gomez now.
Okay. I'm maybe not. Like I said, I thought it's been a while, but Errens does all the right stuff. He's a good Dutch kickboxer. If a stiff breeze will take him down, and he's not getting back up after a stiff breeze. The thing with him though is he's a volume guy. He does all the right stuff. He's going to land on Choi. He doesn't have the power though. That's the thing I think this is a good matchup for Choi because he doesn't have that F you, I'm going to swing for the fences and try and kill you type of power. And because of that, I've got to go Choi in this matchup. I think there'll be a couple dicey moments where he'll get clipped and we'll all hold our breath and go, oh, he's okay. He didn't die from that. He's RoboCop. I mean, is he not the 145 version of Gregory Rodriguez, who's so good and then just so reckless with that chin and just in the firefight, you just hold your breath with it. But I've got Choi. Who do you got on this?
Yeah, man, it's really hard to trust Choi.
It is.
It's so hard to trust Choi. And it wasn't even the some of the early fights where he got choked out or these little things, even the Caceres fight, right? That was right when we started the podcast. Mm-hmm. And I had $90,000 all
on. Yeah.
I would have cashed $90,000 if Choi would have won. And I'm sitting there in Disney World because he's winning the first round and gets choked out. So it's not those performances that scare me. Honestly, he looked great in the Caceres fight, and we've seen how good Caceres has been looking as of late. Yep. More so the Coulibaly fight and the Trezano fight, where he just spams left hooks until he dies.
Yeah. And he's got a good left hook, and he lands it well.
His left hook's great, but when you throw it 17 times in a row...
He lands it once, and that's exactly it. He's like, he just keeps hitting the left hook button.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Man, it's hard for me to go with Choi here. Aaron's striking is better than I thought. His regional tape is horrible because you're right. The second he gets taken down, he's on his butt. But
his striking's good. It's clean.
Honestly, it's better than I thought. Like he's countering back. He's firing in combinations. He's throwing low kicks. He's fast. He's a clean striker. Even in the Gomez fight, when he would hit the floor, he worked back up way better than he did in his regional tape. So I'm like, this guy's night and day. If you're asking me who wins the fight, I'm seeing this really sexy Korean. He's huge. He's jacked. He's handsome. Yeah. And I'm like, man, he should win this fight. But if you're talking about a value perspective, paying -200 or -300 on Choi versus +200 on Errens in a fight that probably is stand-up, I'm probably going to rock with Errens on this one. But if we're going just winners, I think Choi wins it. He's bigger. He's more athletic. What I'm hoping is, because he's with Zombie, hoping he grapples.
I think it's the other Choi who's with Zombie.
No.
Is this Choi with Zombie too? Are all the Chois with
Zombie?
Choi. All Chois are Zombie's Chois now.
They got Bok Chois. No. There's a picture of them all together. So
okay.
Maybe we hit up Eddie and we see what's going on. And we'll send him the podcast. We'll send him our thoughts. Choi, if you're watching this, and I know that you are, let's grapple.
Don't be a knucklehead.
Don't be a knucklehead and grapple a little bit. Yeah. Someone translate that for me.
All right. Next up, we've got Liang and JJ Aldrich. Thoughts?
Good God, this is a tough one. Well, it shouldn't be a tough one, but Liang is awful, but she's dangerous for a couple minutes. She throws up crazy, wild submissions and swings for the life of her. I would say probably the smartest play is fight doesn't go, obviously, or under a round and a half, which is almost every one of Liang's fights. But that's also indicative of JJ Aldrich's finishing ability, which is not a lot.
Yes. But JJ Aldrich just has to wait long enough for Liang to do something dumb enough to where she just jumps on her and Na Lang will it's kill or be killed if she's, but not, I don't know. I think Na Lang is horrible. I think her power standing is not good.
Horrible.
She doesn't, I mean, she's like spaghetti arms. She just like flails.
JJ is giving Erin Blanchfield a tough fight.
I thought she was winning that fight until Blanchfield caught.
Yeah. And now we're going against, Na Liang up a weight class.
Yeah,
she's moving up to 125.
JJ Aldrich like is winning this fight.
We also said that against
Lipski. These are two very. Don't you fucking dare!
They're the same
sentence to compare Lipski and Na Lang.
She's just the Brazilian
Na
Liang.
Are not the
She's
same.
just the Brazilian Na Liang.
No. JJ Aldrich is winning this, and Na Liang is nothing like Lipski. And may God have
Na
mercy
Liang
on
for the
your
upset,
soul.
you guys.
Oh my gosh!
No, I'm just kidding. JJ Aldrich.
JJ Aldrich is winning this. You shut your mouth.
Hey, it's white boy summer. It's time to bet the whites.
All right. Next up, we have Yusaku. I can't say these names.
All right, let me take a look at this.
Yusaku Kinoshita. I could say Kinoshita, but how do you say that first name? Yusaku Kinoshita. He's two last names or two first names. Two names I can't say against Billy Goff. We saw Kinoshita against Adam Fugit last, who's been out here with us.
Fight Ready Fugit.
Yep, Fight Ready Fugit. For the record, you guys, I think I'm the only person on the planet to call Fugit for the win in that fight. So I take credit. That was before I knew him, so don't go nuts, assholes. And then we have Billy Goff on the other side. And Kinoshita, he's actually not bad. I mean, he does all the right stuff standing. Like he's not. I mean, he's not amazing, but he's fine. He has good power. He has good speed. He's not a world beater, but he's good enough. We'll see him get taken down. He will work back up to his feet, and he's fine. He does all the right stuff. And Goff on the other side is horrible, but he just no. I really mean that. Like his stand up is really, really bad. Like he is really on a technical level very bad,
but doesn't die.
He won't die, and he actually has decent wrestling. Because wrestling's not great MMA wrestling. It's like shoot a double, shoot a
blast
single.
Double, run it as far as you can,
and then but I worry about this because I'm like Kinoshita is better everywhere. I think at some point Goff will get takedowns. I think Kinoshita will work back up to his feet, but then just like. Does that pressure? It's like Darren Elkins back in his day when he just wouldn't die and was just in your face until you just got tired. The ultimate Homer Simpson. I lean Kinoshita on this because I think he's just the better fighter, and and he seems to have good cardio. He doesn't. I haven't seen him have
that Contender Series fight. Was a really good look at him because they were swinging hard for 3 rounds,
and he kept going and did all the right stuff and found the finish. So that was what I was thinking. I'm like, I don't think the pressure will break him. And so I lean Kinoshita just on being way more technical and not breaking under the pressure. His level of experience of the guys he's fighting are not great. But yeah, I lean Kinoshita on this and just being the better fighter. But man, Goff is just, dude's tough.
I'm right there with you. The one thing that I don't like about Kinoshita, watching that Contender Series fight, on the outside, he has a really good appearance of good distance and range management. But when he starts swinging, he says, fuck all that. And he squares up and he stands right in your face with his chin up. Right. He was doing that to that tall Brazilian. Out here, he looks really clean and really beautiful, starts swinging and everything comes together and he's just chin up brawling. And that's one thing I don't like. I
don't think that's going to matter against. Let him brawl with Goff.
Yeah, not
he'll
against
send
Goff.
him down. Like
yeah,
he'll if he wants to go chin up brawling, he's going to win that.
Yeah, I wasn't saying in this particular matchup, just in general. Yeah. He's got this appearance of such, they call him the Japanese Connor, and because he does. They
call him that? Okay, I don't.
They call him that. I mean, some people, the bald guy
you
calls him that. No, some people call him
that.
You
just made that up right now.
Dan calls him that.
Dan. Okay.
Dan.
Okay.
All right.
Dan.
Well, whatever. All right. Kinoshita.
All right. Kenan song, Rolando Bedoya.
Okay. I hate how Bedoya throws his punches.
Yeah, how could you love it?
He throws it like he's throwing a softball.
Yeah. Well, probably baseball. Softball would probably be.
Oh. Underhand. Well, you could throw a softball overhand.
I guess you could, yeah.
If you're a man, you're probably throwing it overhand just out of pride. Throwing underhand is for women.
for women.
Yeah.
The women's.
For the women's. Yeah, I mean, he throws it like a baseball. It's so weird. And what happens is he's a really long, tall guy, and he's crushing his distance because he's bringing himself so close to land this little girl punch.
The thing about Bedoya, though, that Seung doesn't do is he actually does something.
Yes, he does.
Kenan just stands there and shells up, and he's like a heavy bag.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't love Bedoya just in general. He's got a good chin and good cardio. He does throw stuff out there. I just don't think Seung Kenan's a little cleaner than Chaos Williams, but man, it feels like Bedoya is just going to outvolume him.
That's exactly what I think. Yes, so he could volume him, and that's what I think is he's not great anywhere. But what he does though is he actually sees punches kind of. On the outside, he'll see these punches well, and he moves around and he does the right stuff. And then he just what he does is he'll land some punches. We saw it with Chaos. And then he just keeps throwing until he gets hit back. And then we saw that with like Ian Gary and Kenan. He kept throwing and got sloppy through that hook to the body. And Kenan came back up and hit him with that short left hook.
Yep.
Sent him on his ass. I think Bedoya has a much better chin than Ian Gary.
He's been dropped almost every fight.
Yes. So, yeah, I think Bedoya's chin is going to hold up. And just the volume, and I just
don't love the price on it. It's very expensive for a guy who is fine, but just has chin and cardio, which I guess can take him pretty far. But man, he throws his punches bad, and one day he's going to get hit with a shot he doesn't see. And Chaos, I think, is so sloppy. He's not technical at all. Where at least Seung Kenan is a little bit technical. I mean, he's technical. He is.
The bad thing about Seung is that he's actually good almost everywhere. He's not amazing anywhere, but he's really decent. He just doesn't fight. He just doesn't throw. He just is so defensive in that shell that how do you bet him? How do you train him? How do you anything him?
I mean, the only way I guess would be by knockout, right? You play his knockout prop.
Yeah.
Or finish only. Or you think he can get finished?
I think he could get finished because
I don't know. Ian Gary had to wait till the last second to finish him.
Yeah, but Ian Gary, sometimes cleaner fighters do that. They take some time. Whereas sloppy fighters are just going in there swinging. I just
don't think Bedoya has any power.
Yeah, I could see that too. But
so finish only for Seung Kenan and decision only for Bedoya.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll have to look more deeper into that. I think Bedoya wins the fight. That's where I'm ending it right now because I got to look more into the finishes and everything. And I don't want to get ahead of myself. Next up, we have Chidi Bang Bang, and Michal Oleksiejczuk. I like Oleksiejczuk as a whole. And I shouldn't. I mean, it's not like he's amazing anywhere, but
he's a fun fighter to watch.
Yeah, he's a fun fighter to watch. He moves the way he almost like uses really like boxing movement in MMA and rolls and goes and he does a lot of good stuff. He outlasts people. I like him. I just like watching him as a fighter. He's not beating the best guys and he's not
He beat Cody Brundage.
That's true.
So he is watch your mouth with the best guys.
He is beating the best guys. Which, I mean, that was a 1 out of 100 shot that he has to beat Cody Brundage.
And he took advantage of it.
And he did. But, man, he's fighting Chidi. And we saw what happened when he fought Khalil Roundtree. Roundtree is just, early in that first round, he's just dynamic. He's athletic. And that is Chidi. And Chidi will break, and you can break Chidi with cardio, but with wrestling. And I don't see Oleksiejczuk wrestling at all. And then I see Chidi bringing those knees up. He's so dynamic. And that first round is going to be really hard for Oleksiejczuk to get out of, let alone win. And then Chidi just has to do enough for 4 minutes to steal round 2 if he doesn't put him down for the count before that. His jiu-jitsu is good. His cardio sucks, again, against wrestlers. But Michal isn't this guy that's like pressuring and in your face. He's not Mab. He's not going to just...
Well, we saw what happened to Mab.
Yeah, exactly. We did see what happened to Mab in that. But he's not a guy who can withstand that like early beating and just go and break you. Like Jaraev. We just saw what, Jaraev just... and that was a close fight anyway, too.
Yeah, it was.
I like Chidi here. I think his range and then just that beautiful Muay Thai. The range, the Muay Thai, and then that athleticism are going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, I thought, honestly, I thought the same thing. I couldn't believe that Chidi was an underdog here. So I was just pulling up.
Is he really?
Yeah, the odds.
No.
Well, he's minus 104 now,
Okay.
and Lord Michael's minus 116.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that because I'm thinking like, man, he's so tall, so rangy. It seems like a horrible fight style for Michael, right? He's going to bring up the knees, the elbows, do the solid Muay Thai. And I'm thinking that's going to negate a lot of the stuff that Oleksiejczuk does. And it wasn't long ago that people on Twitter and like the universe was saying that Cody Brundage was going to beat Oleksiejczuk, like out cardio him and out grapple him and do these things. And now all of a sudden, Michael Oleksiejczuk's a favorite. I love Lord Michael.
Yeah.
I was legitimately planning to go to Vegas and put 50 grand on him against Cody Brundage. I don't know why I didn't. Everyone scared me off of it. And I'm like, really? Am I missing something here?
Yeah.
And it was a brutal beating. In this one, I think the Dureyev fight was interesting for Chidi, right? First round, awful for him. Gets taken down, gets beat up. The entire time he had to worry about takedowns for the rest of the fight, which made the striking a lot closer than I think it really should have been. Without that threat from, well, first of all, he's so tall. I don't know Oleksiejczuk can get him down and get him down with ease.
I don't know that in a wrestling match he could get him down.
Yeah, I mean, he's not like the most phenomenal wrestler.
Have we ever seen him offensively try to bring the fight to the ground?
Yeah, so
we saw him clinch Jacoby in that situation, but I don't know if he was really like power wrestling, really trying to do
he can't put together 15 minutes of it. So now we're talking about a Muay Thai fight with 4-ounce gloves. I feel like I just like the faster, more dynamic Chidi, and I feel like they're trying to give him a good matchup here.
I like it. I think it's just the smart play here.
Yep. All right.
What do we got? So we've got Chidi. Oh, Kazama. Toshiomi Kazama against Garrett Armfield. We've seen Kazama against somebody who fought... We're going to get to Rinya Nakamura in the finale of the Road to the UFC. And then Garrett Armfield, we saw his lone UFC appearance was short notice against Onama. He put up a good fight right there. Garrett, I think, was scheduled to fight C-Rod, right? Wasn't he at one point? Yeah, so I remember looking at that. I remember doing it. Garrett Armfield is pretty good everywhere. He fought Onama up a weight class on short notice and looked really good until it was just like, all right, the adrenaline, the weight cut, everything. You win. I tried. You win. He is an American wrestler. He's going to work back up to his feet. He's not going to play jiu-jitsu. And Toshiomi is a IBJJF Asian brown belt or purple belt champion. And now he is a brown belt. So his pure jiu-jitsu is good for pure jiu-jitsu. It is. And he does
judo stuff too.
He'll get the takedown. He'll lace the legs. He'll wrap you up. But he's fighting guys who aren't used to cage. They're used to training on an open mat without a cage. They're used to training for rings. These guys are not guys who are training in cages to get back up to their feet the way that Americans are. He's down at Kill Cliff, which means he's just sparring with really good guys all the time. He's in the right weight class. This is where kind of the American Asian thing gets weird. As long as the weight cut, you guys do not understand. Cutting weight in America is amazing. It is so freaking easy. When we were cutting weight in Chile, we could not find water. You can't find water. We're trying to water load, and all of the water down there, and it's fine. It's not like there's bacteria in it. But even the bottled water, it was so hard with minerals that everybody's stomach, my stomach was queasy for probably 14 days after I came back. We couldn't drink coffee down there. I was getting espresso coffee drinks with soy milk because I didn't want just water. Like, it is so hard to find. Like, and then everyone's like, oh, sparkling water? No, we're like, dude, just water. Like, you can't. Stuff like that is hard. Then you add a 30-hour flight. Or, not flight, but travel with layovers and everything. Like, cutting weight is hard overseas, though. It's really difficult. Then the time change. Going where we are in America, going east into Europe and stuff like that is not anywhere near as bad as going backwards. We go backwards, which is actually forward to Asia and Australia. The time change is brutal. So any of these American guys fighting the Asian guys, I like Armfield. Who knows what kind of cut he has and what type of time frame and stuff like that. So I like Armfield here for the fight. That's just a quick disclaimer on weight cutting and fighting and doing all of that stuff in Asia, which is just really, it's way harder than what anybody would ever imagine.
Well, okay. Well, that's good. And that's something because we're going to see a lot of people traveling. I like Armfield too. I think he's got a lot of skills and a lot of good things. I thought that would be a really tough fight for C-Rod. And then after watching C-Rod beat Rosas, that wouldn't even be a close fight.
No. People don't understand. Like C-Rod is really good.
He's really good. He's really good. Freaking good. It's funny you say that because he's sick right now in Bali.
Is he?
Yeah, he got like food poisoning or something. So maybe, brutal. And all he's been doing is drinking mineral water. So I'm sure it's probably the same thing.
It is like our stomachs just aren't accustomed to it. It's not bad. And if we lived in like Chile or these places, we would get accustomed to it over a month or 2 months, whatever. But man, like that, it was brutal. That was, I could not wait to get home to just drink American chlorinated tap water. Just give me the goods, man.
Yeah, I like Armfield. The thing that I had with Kazama, so Kazama's on the road to UFC. Mm-hmm. I thought he looked really good, but he also fought an ancient man. He was like so old. And I picked him there. I thought he was going to win the fight, out-grappled him. Honestly, his cardio impressed me in that fight, that he was able to keep that pace. But like you said, fighting an American wrestler now, I think he has to get a submission in the first round. I think he has to jump on Garrett's back, or it's going to be a tough night for him.
And Garrett can strike. He's got good power in his hands. He does the right stuff. Like, honestly, I think he's probably going to finish him.
Yeah, I think so too, because Kazama's TKO. All his fights are first round. Yep. And that was the only like real decision that against somebody competent that he's ever been to. So I love fading the jiu-jitsu guys that are all first round submissions, especially against a Kill Cliff kid who can wrestle, who can strike, who can do a lot of things well. So yeah, give me Armfield.
Okay. Next up, what do we got? Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Lukasz Brzeski. Give me your thoughts.
Man, I think Brzeski's one of the worst heavyweights. Now, I did think he got robbed in his last fight. Thank God, because that saved me.
Yep.
But the dude has amongst the worst cardio in the world. Watch it. Like, I know.
And he's not a power heavyweight.
No.
Like you get these heavyweights that it's weird to see heavyweights without power or technique that just are kind of there.
He's got technique for a round.
But not like amazing finishing, like it doesn't wow you, and then he's not trying to kill you. And so it's like, what are you doing here?
He did really well in the last fight, but man, it's hard. It's getting harder to bet against like pre-UFC film, like the regional tape. But man, his fight against Michael Keita was like mind blowing how horrible this guy is. Mind blowing. Waldo Cortes, man, stopped me from retiring early again, but I think this is a much better matchup for him. A guy who's a striker but doesn't throw a ton of leg kicks and gets tired after one round. At least Rogerio, is that his name?
Yeah.
Marcos. He pushed the pace.
Yeah.
And it was a very impressive pace for such a big guy.
And he low kicked the hell out of him.
Low kick, takedowns, did everything. Waldo, high volume, good cardio. He's in better shape than he's ever been. It's hard for me not to go with the heavyweight that can just push it a little bit farther than a guy like Brzeski.
Yeah. I have not been kind to Waldo on this podcast, just because I think there's so many holes in his game. But in this matchup, he's got a really good jab. He's fast. He's athletic, and he's going to push more than Brzeski is going to. I'm not huge on him at all, but against Brzeski right here in this matchup, I really like Waldo Cortes here to honestly just pick him apart with that jab.
Yep.
If it ends, of course he'll add on with the jab as time progresses. He could either end up with a decision here or even maybe find a late TKO in round late 2, late 3, something like that. But I think Waldo Cortes money line is solid here. And I think he's going to get the win.
Okay. All right. What's next?
What do we got? Oh, I didn't tape this. I don't know why it didn't register with me. Junior Tafa and Parker Porter. Give me your quick thoughts on that, and then I'll go with Blanchfield and Taila Santos.
Yeah, I think honestly, this is one of the best bang for your buck money lines that you're going to have. I like Parker Porter. I think he does a lot of things well. He throws a lot of punches, and he's got good cardio for a heavyweight. I've said this time and time again. In my mind, I've always thought his wrestling was a lot better than it was. Almost like, oh man, who can I even equate this to? I thought he was fill you up with volume down here, and then he's going to power wrestle you and take you down. And he's just a grinder like that. And his wrestling is it's not that good. Junior Tafa. So I think I picked Mo Usman to beat him on when they just fought on the last podcast.
Okay.
And I said, I think
Was
it's
that
close.
the Ultimate Fighter finale, or was that
No, that
finale?
No, he already won the finale. He knocked
Okay.
out Pauga, but then they fought. And I picked Mo to win, and it was a pretty controversial pick. Everyone was like, oh. He ended up winning. Honestly, I was impressed with Tafa's takedown defense.
Okay.
His hips were good. And so the couple times that he got him down, so one of them, he lifted the leg and then ran the pipe.
Redirects the double.
He redirected the double. Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Because it wasn't running the pipe, but he redirected the double and went around the hips. And I just think that was something that Tafa had never really seen before. He's got pretty good first layer takedown defense.
Okay.
Singles, doubles, fine. He's athletic. He moves really well for being kind of fat like he is.
He's like Samoan, like or whatever.
Yeah. And Mo Usman's head movement is borderline autistic ant. He's just all over the place and doing something, but Tafa just couldn't catch him. He's like trying to just catch him, and he couldn't catch him. One thing about Parker Porter, and we saw this in his Tafa fight, is he moves his head a little bit here and there, but man, he's just so wide and so small that it's just
he is wide.
Like big
short
dumpy
bus
ass.
wide.
Yeah, big dumpy ass. I think this is Tafa's fight all day. I think he defends takedowns. I think this is his knockout spot that he's going to get, because I just don't see Parker. He moves it here and here, but man, he's just so big it barely actually moves. And Tafa will be able to get a hold of him. So I like Tafa in this spot a lot.
Okay. You heard it here first, folks. Tafa it is. We are moving along. Man, we still have like 74 more fights to go. I feel like we've been
almost done.
I don't know. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more fights to go.
That's easy. We've been flying through these.
I know, but we've been flying through, and we still have 5 more fights to go.
All right, let's go.
Erin Blanchfield, Taila Santos. And this kind of reminds me of, I think, almost like the Aljo Sugar Sean fight that just happened. And what I mean by that is, like, I was telling people that whatever happens, like it's going to be so obvious after the fight that it's like, oh, I can't even believe that we were talking about this. Like, oh, it's going to be a close fight and Aljo will win or Sean will win or this and that. And I said, look, hindsight is 20/20, but when this fight is done, it's not going to be either Aljo's taking him down and submitting him, or he's getting knocked out. And we're going to go, oh, wow, that was so obvious. Yeah, I can't believe any of us doubted him.
Yeah.
And this fight kind of feels like that to me in a way where we have Taila Santos, who's unbelievably athletic.
Yeah.
She is, I believe she's listed at her reach is 68 and Blanchfield 67. I swear she's got a 10-inch reach on like Blanchfield. Her forearms are like the size of my leg. They're unbelievably
big
long.
as Blanchfield, really. She always looks so tiny to me.
Right? They list her, I think, as bigger than I think she actually is. I don't know how, but she looks small. But Taila Santos, we saw her in her last fight with Shevchenko. First of all, she got robbed, like
bad,
robbed at gunpoint, robbed. Like she should have. She won rounds 1 through 3.
It's karma for what she did in the favelas.
Yes, and then she lost round 4 and 5. I think watching that back, thoughts. I mean, whatever. But her ability to move when Shevchenko was going for those takedowns and in Santos to end up on top, end up on her back. At one point, she got like thrown and like rolled underneath, hipped up and over, and like wiggled herself up in top position off the screen. I was like, geez, that's amazing. Her stand-up is clean. She's got a beautiful jab, straight punches right down the middle. Her wrestling defense isn't bad, but she's just so athletic that she like wiggles her way up and does a lot of this stuff. Her jiu-jitsu, we saw it with Joanne Wood. I mean, jumped on her back, choked her out. You know, like her pure jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. Like, I love her. And then she does stuff like gets taken down and lies on her back and starts playing the jiu-jitsu game.
Yeah.
And then you have Blanchfield, who's just mean as shit and tough and in your face. And the thing that I love about Blanchfield is she will just chain her movements together. And if you watch her, she will get a takedown. And she is not just lying there holding or going jiu-jitsu. She gets a takedown as people come up. She's grabbing an ankle. Then she's grabbing a knee and she's wrist riding. And then she's punching. She's doing all of the right MMA grappling stuff. Her cardio is phenomenal. And she knows how to win. She just finds a way to win. And that alone is something amazing where in these moments where it matters, like Taila Santos in a title fight, like it's round 4, round 5, and you need to seal this stuff, and you get taken down and you just lie there. You don't butt scoot, you don't sit up, you're not hip heisting, you're playing off of your back. You're like what kind of bad decision making is that?
Mm-hmm.
And skill for skill, I think I like Taila Santos on most everything, but just fighting and who I think is going to win, I lean Blanchfield because I think she's just so tough and so gritty and is just going to keep trying to find a way to win no matter what for 15 minutes. Whereas Taila Santos is going to have these amazing moments and then not really do as much. And the last thing I'll say about it, and I'll hear your thoughts, is with Shevchenko and with other girls, when Taila Santos looks really good, it's when people aren't pressuring her. It's when they're staying on the outside and they're letting her kind of breathe and do her thing and work that jab. We saw on her UFC debut against, is it Mara Borello?
Yeah.
Where she just pressured her. And Santos had a hard time in a lot of those areas. And I do think she adrenaline gassed out a little bit on her first fight there. I don't think we're going to see that here. But I've got to lean Blanchfield in just always doing the right stuff, even though I don't think she's anywhere near as clean in the stand-up department.
So you and I actually talked about this one yesterday, and you were like, what are your first thoughts? And I was like, well, I just think Blanchfield's going to eventually get her down and just grind her. And very possible. Then I went back and watched both of their most recent 2 fights. Obviously, Santos with Shevchenko. And I couldn't believe her athleticism. The way she was
insane, right?
The way she was getting off the cage, her strikes, how fast they were, how fast she was closing distance, how she came up to the top. Forget the jiu-jitsu, forget taking her back. Like, I've said that forever and ever, that Shevchenko has major holes in that department. She's always like laying on her back too long or doing stupid transitions and whatever. It doesn't matter. That's not what I was looking at. I was purely looking at the takedown defense, how she reacts on the cage, what happens if they do hit the floor. And I couldn't have been more impressed with her reactions to everything. The second she hit, boom, she was popping back up and she was finding top position. It was incredible. And then watching Blanchfield fight Andrade.
Please go on, because I was going to bring this up and I'm hoping that you do.
Okay, yeah. Watching Blanchfield fight Andrade. So selfishly, I had single game parlays or whatever, and I needed her to have takedowns, right? Takedown round 1, takedown round 2, 2 takedowns in the fight, whatever. Her entries into the takedowns were horrible. And that's the part that scares me the worst. So on a girl like Maverick is fine with her hands, but she's not overly dangerous. No. She kind of tries to be too technical and she's not dangerous. And so Blanchfield can enter when she pleases. She can swing to the outside, and Maverick has those really like boxy hips. And I've said this forever and ever and ever. But Andrade also has those kind of hips, and Erin couldn't find a way to enter. She just couldn't find a way to enter. And the one time she did, she kind of swung around to the back and like tried, but couldn't quite get it. And Andrade doesn't move a tenth as well as Santos does. I don't think her jiu-jitsu is anywhere near. And honestly, her striking is pretty
wild. Reckless. Yeah.
Where
it's all power based.
Santos is power based too, but she's at least clean and technical. Man, just her struggling to find those entries on Andrade was like the biggest thing for me to go, I think I'm picking Santos here.
Okay, so you're switching the game up.
Yeah, I switch. I would love. So let me say this, just from
here before you go, because I thought you were going to mention something. And against Andrade, she could not find the takedown in round 1, but she did in round 2. And what she did is she switched it from trying to go leg takedown to an inside trip, and that right there I thought was really impressive, and it showed a really good fight IQ in the moment, needing to make the adjustments.
Yeah.
And what did we see Taila Santos get taken down with against Shevchenko? Was an inside trip as well. And once she was taken down and was actually on her back, she stayed there. And that is what honestly worries me about Santos.
The biggest exchange is just going to be, it's purely going to be the wrestling, because Santos off her back, bad.
It's a wrap.
And Erin on
standing,
top, amazing.
Yes.
Erin on top, her control is so gorgeous and beautiful, because again, she's one of those people that mixes the wrestling with the jiu-jitsu so well. So, but it's like, can she get it there?
Yeah.
And man, I don't know. I guess the one thing I know about Erin is she has such a dog in her that she'll go through hell, and then she just needs one opportunity to get there, and that could be it.
It really comes down to wrestling. I think in the stand-up department, she's going to get picked apart. I think on the ground, if she can get it to the ground, she is going to easily win those moments. And then it's, can she get her on the ground the way that she needs to? And that is the big question.
I'm looking at somebody who's just a big physical specimen versus kind of a frumpy, like small girl who's got dog. Like she's just mean and crazy, but can she get it there?
Well, I mean, originally, it's funny because we kind of switched. Originally, when we talked, I was thinking Taila Santos and you were thinking Blanchfield. And one of the reasons why I was thinking Taila Santos is I thought JJ Aldrich was winning that fight until she found the submission.
Yeah. That's the thing that everybody's pointing to.
Yeah, it is. But then freaking Blanchfield just keeps finding a way to win.
But the thing about JJ Aldrich too, and people forget this, it's all styles that are going to make fights. She doesn't overcommit on any strike. She's always within herself. She's got these freaking heavy hips. Like you're going to run into bones and hips. Yep. She's really tough to take down versus Taila, who she will overswing. She'll try to knock your head off, and that presents openings for takedowns.
Yes. Yep.
So I think there's a big difference there. So you can keep referencing that. Well, she was losing to JJ, and that's what every podcast is going to do. Honestly, I don't care because the next fight she strapped her nuts on and she went and beat up Andrade and stood where Andrade is the best, and she ate punches from Andrade.
And she landed probably the better shots in round one.
She said, "Whatever,
honestly, I'm
game."
The funny thing about that fight was I thought she won the stand-up battle in round one, and Andrade was able to defend the takedowns.
Yeah.
That was kind of a weird one. I'm still going to stick with Blanchfield. I'm not heavy on this at all. I just lean that way out of toughness and cardio and just pure grit and fight. But I think Santos is the more technical, more athletic fighter.
Okay, I want to switch back, and I hate when people are like, "Oh, you guys can't decide."
No, because we're having a conversation. It's not.
And now I keep thinking.
Yeah, we're having a conversation about it in front of you guys as we're discussing this.
Okay, guys, bet online. You can bet round by round who's going to win each round. Santos round one.
Yes.
Boom. Santos round one. But now
Blanchfield round three.
Blanchfield round three and round two. I think she's going to wear on her late. And honestly, it's just going to take one. Just going to take one.
So yeah, and again, I don't. This isn't something I would go. This is why we're talking about it as much as we are, because I think it's a very close fight, and I think a lot of stuff could happen. But then again, as I started, it wouldn't surprise me to just see Taila Santos so athletic that just
can't get a hold of it.
Blanchfield is like, we're done here. Or Blanchfield to get a takedown and just beat her up. So I do think it's one of those fights with so many variables there, which is why I love.
She just seems like the most focused fighter in the world. Blanchfield,
yeah.
She just is like,
since she was
I'm
teenager.
such a dog. Yeah.
Yep. So I love it. I lean Blanchfield.
I'll switch to Blanchfield.
Okay. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would bet this fight, considering how.
I think it's just a live bet. I think it's a live bet. After one round, I'll probably.
You're going to know how the fight's going after a round. Yeah. All right. Next up, we've got Rinya Nakamura against Fernie Garcia. Start with that. And I'll give you my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a close fight. Rinya's gonna smoke him. I mean, what you have to count on is Rinya's gonna death gas. You know, if you're gonna try to hit the other side, the dude can wrestle, the dude can strike. But Fernie's not a marathon runner either. And what did you say last time? He was like throwing up and like begging not to go out there. And the coach was like, "You better get out there." Yeah,
in the locker room, he was having a really rough time with adrenaline and nerves.
Yeah, and now he's going to Singapore to fight in a foreign country against a superstar,
a U23 world champion wrestler,
who can strike also and knocks everybody out,
who tries to kill people and has unbelievable reflexes and speed and athleticism. And honestly, even after he's trying to kill people,
he's still fine.
Doesn't get tired and is just one of those young guys that's like, I'm a super athlete.
So who's the A side here?
I think Fernie.
I think Fernie
the UFC wants Fernie to win.
Yep, clearly.
I think it's going to go close decision, and the judges are going to know that Fernie is the A side.
All right.
Man,
Rinya.
Nakamura, Rinya by anything he wants, man. I think Rinya is just that dude is good.
Who twisted Fernie's arm into taking that fight? The dude was puking like going to fight Journey. Newsom.
I think it was. I think probably what it was is he went 0-2.
Yeah, take this fight or you're cut.
Take this fight or you're cut. And it's like, who wants to fight Rinya in Singapore? Like I said, a lot of people are injured this week. Not from our gym, from every gym across the world. There's a lot of people.
Now I got to think about who fights 135.
A lot of people are injured this week, all across the world who don't live in Asia. So they're all going to be better on Monday.
Well, I heard the flights are cheaper from Texas anyways.
All right, Giga Chikadze, Alex Caceres. Man, Alex Caceres has looked good lately. He really has had a resurgence. And how old is he? He's 35. I didn't realize that.
A couple old men brawling it out.
He's been around forever. I like Alex. I love his movement. I think people underestimate Alex's abilities just because we saw him so young, and we kind of
have every fight.
Yeah, we kind of assume that he's still the same guy that he was when he was first coming on the scene. And that he was this wild guy and karate guy, but if you got a hold of him or if you just stood in the pocket, and he's not that guy anymore. He's legitimately really good. His ground game is really underrated.
His jiu-jitsu is phenomenal.
Yeah, his jiu-jitsu is his MMA ground game is really good. I mean, he took Choi's back and choked him out.
Come on, man.
He's good everywhere. His distance is good. Everything's good. And then Giga on the other side, he was a phenomenal kickboxer that we know. That left middle kick.
The Giga
kick. And instead of just like a standard round kick, he will hit the shin, but then he'll toe you. What Giga does that I love, take note, people out there who want to fight, is, first of all, like the worst thing about fighting a southpaw is fighting a southpaw who liver kicks. Like that's their
shot. Yeah.
Anytime you see an orthodox fighter go orthodox and then step back in a southpaw, you're like, liver kick's coming. Like that's the thing. And nobody wants to eat those liver kicks. And so what Giga does is he throws the left high kick at first, and he gets you to raise your guard, and you have to block the left high kick. Good thing about high kicks is, in throwing them at least, is they're really hard to counter. You almost get like they're free strikes for the most part, because a middle kick you can catch, a middle kick you could step in and throw, a low kick you could blast double, you could throw off of it. A high kick, you've got to block. And so he throws it. He doesn't intend to land it. He throws it fast. He gets it up there, and he forces people to block. That brings their hand up high. That brings their guard up high. And then he Giga kicks them in the liver, and they fall like bitches. I would fall like a bitch too. I mean, we all would, but we would all fall like bitches. And Giga, he's so good at that. His takedown defense has gotten pretty good.
Honestly, it's really good.
And his ability to get back up is really good. And we saw it in the Calvin Kattar fight. Calvin Kattar's team had a great game plan for him. Just pressure him. And they kept switching stances and kept following him and just kept dragging him to the ground again and again and again and again. I don't know that Caceres is going to be able to do that again and again and again and again. And the pressure, I think we kind of saw this with the Sadiq Youssef fight. I think Sadiq was not afraid of Caceres' striking and was like, let's go. Whereas so many people try to take him down. They panic against Caceres and they don't know how to fight him. I don't know that Giga is going to panic. And I think he's going to put a solid beating on Caceres.
Honestly, there's not much else for me to say. That was a perfect breakdown. I do worry about the layoff, right? It was a long layoff off a horrific beating. So Alex has momentum. But honestly, just styles-wise, man, I just see him eating up those legs every time he switches. Like you said, going to the head, going to the body, mixing things up. His hands, the way he kind of darts in and out. I think Alex takes advantage of guys that are very slow and stationary and try to box very traditionally. Yeah. Where Giga is very in and out, throws that big overhand, throws the kicks. He's crafty, just like Caceres is. And yeah, his takedown defense is good. He's a big guy for the weight class. Yeah, I like Giga here.
Okay, I like it. Hey, I actually want to go back and talk one more thing about Rinya Nakamura that I meant to mention. It's nothing. I mean, we already said that. We already think Rinya's winning. Watch his level changes, because he does something with his level change that is gorgeous. He level changes going forward and down at the same time, but he loops his hands. And so you don't know, is he setting up a shot to actually wrestle or a body shot? And then he's in and out so quick. Watch the way that he sets that up. You guys make note, because I think that's really going to offer a lot of difficulties for Fernie. And it draws people in and it freezes them. And then he's able to either wrestle if he decides to come over the top with that fast right hand that he has. But you reminded me of that is when you were talking about Giga, how he can dart those punches in, and Rinya just does such a really good job, but a very interesting and unique way of level changing up and down and in and out at the same time with his body as his hands float as well. Watch this. It's something really nice to take note of. All right, we are moving along. Anthony Smith, Ryan Spann. Why did this fight get canceled and redone? Wasn't it?
I have no idea.
Because they were supposed to fight a few weeks ago, right? Or a month or two?
I don't know, but they also fought before.
Yeah, and then they also fought before. Give me your thoughts on this, and then I'll give you mine.
Good God. I bet against Spann every time, and then I'm so disappointed every time. Right. I get killed, and I'm thinking like, man, this guy has just gotten so much better. And then you kind of look, and it's like, who knows? Has he actually? Because every fight's ending in the first round. He fought Chinny Dominic Reyes, knocked him out. Idiot Kutalaba choked him out. Lost to Krylov
got triangled in
the weirdest way possible. Though, like Krylov's beating his ass, and then falls off and then finishes him. It's like so bizarre. Man, at the end of the day, he's still just chucking hammers. He's still weirdly just chucking hammers and being a complete ape. And man, Anthony Smith has a lot of things. And, I was seeing a lot of people playing Anthony Smith this week, and I'm like, what an idiot. Like, this guy is cooked. He's done. I think the UFC is trying to give him one last favor on his way out. One last winnable fight, in a fight that he won clearly last time. Anthony Smith's a tough guy. He's not going to quit on himself. Even against Ankalaev, he should have quit on himself. Or no, he did in the Ankalaev fight. But the Johnny Walker fight, he could have quit. He could have been out. He could have been done 100 times, and he stayed in the fight till the very end. Man, I think you just have to survive round one with Ryan Spann. Let him burn those bullets. Let him throw all these weird, crazy hammers. You have to jab him, meet him in the pocket, not be afraid of his explosive and his grappling. And I think you can win this fight. Anthony Smith is an underdog against a guy that he already beat in one round, and it wasn't some fluke thing. I mean, he whooped his ass pretty handily. Man, I don't hate that play. Even maybe an unmotivated Anthony Smith, he still went 3 rounds with Johnny Walker, and he still just fought Ankalaev. Like, I don't know. I like Anthony Smith in the spot.
Anthony Smith is so hit and miss. And so is Ryan Spann as well. Ryan Spann's striking is really good. His jiu-jitsu has gotten so much better, and his grappling defense has gotten so much better. He's Choi, though. He's beating people up, and then he'll just take them down into a triangle or like blast double somebody into it. Like he's just too reckless. Smith looks so old. He just doesn't look like
he wants to be there. Yeah.
He reminds me of Michael Chiesa.
Yeah.
And I like everything tells me that he is the better guy and that he should win. I just cannot get behind people that look like they're ready to retire. And
it's very tough.
I think what you're saying is smart. Like Ryan Spann will probably do something dumb. You just got to outlast him. He's already beaten him. Ryan Spann's been triangled by Nikita Krylov and Anthony Smith, and Smith just won't die. Like everything seems like that is correct. And honestly, this is I wouldn't touch the fight type of thing.
Not until you can watch. Like, I don't even know because you're probably going to end the first round.
Yep. Maybe it's a live something, but honestly, these are two unpredictable. You have a guy who's unpredictable and gets caught with dumb stuff in Ryan Spann. And then you have a guy that just doesn't look like he wants to be there in Anthony Smith. If you guys love one of them, I think, play dog money on stuff, whatever. I lean Ryan Spann for nothing more than
he wants to actually be there.
Well, a couple of things. I think he has slowly gotten better. I think he is getting a little bit better over time. He's a little bit younger, and I think he still wants to fight. And Anthony Smith is all of the opposite. I think he's just a little bit older. I think he's gotten a little bit less, like that dog has left him a little bit.
Yeah.
Not that dog in Anthony Smith is what made him so good for so long. And once that kind of goes, then it's like, well, do you really have it anymore? It would not surprise me at all to see Anthony Smith light him up with that beautiful jab that he has, and Ryan Spann shoot in, take him down, and then get guillotined or triangled. Wouldn't at all. But it also wouldn't surprise me to see Ryan Smith catch him early, drop him, and then just run in, rush him with a bunch of punches, and Smith go just cover up.
I'm good.
I'm out. Yeah. So I this is a toss-up for me. For nothing more than the sake of the show, I'm going to play contrarian to you and say Ryan Spann. I wouldn't touch the bet. It's too unpredictable.
This could be the never bet a white anthem on this one.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's what I got. It's not a fight that I would touch. And then, why don't you talk about the main event? I'm not going to. Zombie's my guy. You guys know that I never talk about the guys I train. Just Zombie's awesome. I love him as a human. I don't know that he's one of those guys that if you said something bad about Zombie, it says more about you than it does them. Yeah. He's such a nice guy. He's such a gracious human. He's so thoughtful and thankful. He's just such a good human.
I don't really want to say anything about the main event either.
Okay.
I mean, I think, if you guys are watching the show, you guys are big enough fans of the UFC. These two guys have been around forever. They're both huge names. You guys can formulate your own opinion.
Have trained with him and his guys and everything before. So, so I like that. I know some of you might be mad, but I don't care. I mean, that's
formulate your own opinion.
Yeah.
Max is a former champion and Korean Zombie's been around forever and ever and ever. Watch them film your practice. One guy's minus 800 and the other guy's plus 500. So you watch the film and you make an educated decision.
I hope Zombie gets it done. I know it's a Cinderella story.
Yeah.
And I hope he does it. His last fight was going to be his last fight. And he's like, I want one more, but actually, if you guys are wondering, after the last fight, he was going to retire. That was it, the Volk fight. And, that was brutal. Being in there, I was asking for a corner for a stoppage in between, I think it was the third and the fourth round as I came in. We got to stop this. And fortunately, Herb Dean, right at the start of the next round, stopped it. That was a rough one. But so Zombie was going to retire, and then they offered him Korea, but then it wasn't going to be against Max, and it was just... It didn't work out. He's always wanted to fight Max Holloway.
Jeez.
He's always wanted to fight Max. And this it was literally like he was going to retire. Like they offered him other fighters and he was like, no, he's like, those guys are all good. And I appreciate how good all of those guys are, but it doesn't do anything for me. Like I'm good financially. I don't need the money. I want to fight Max Holloway or I am done. And that was it. He just wanted the fight with Max. And that's why he's taking one more fight. If it was,
he got something against Max. Why you want to fight Max so bad?
He loves Max, and that's the thing is he loves Max. He knows that what Max is going to do, and Max is going to meet him in the middle, and they're going to throw the F down, and they're going to probably go grab beers afterwards. So, great fight.
Two good guys.
Can't wait to watch it. If you guys are still here, sign up for the Patreon, the Discord, and all that good stuff. We'll see you there.